Hello and welcome to the Warrington Scoop podcast. I'm Charles.
And I'm Mike.
And we're here every month to explore all the brilliant things happening in and around Warrington.
Some you might know about already and some you won't. We want to talk about the people doing great things for our town.
With big names in the Golden Square, all the supermarkets you can think of, and 2 large retail parks, Warrington has lots to offer when it comes to shopping. But it's not just the big names that our town has to offer. This month, we're chatting to Robert from Warrington Fruit and Veg, located in the market, to find out why it might be better for all of us to start shopping local.
And we've also got our What's On guide for February with a selection of events for you to try out this month.
Mike, I loved one of your videos last month that you put on Instagram. Well, you probably put it on TikTok as well and wherever else.
Not on TikTok yet, but we will be this month.
Ooh.
So if you're not already on our TikTok, go and check us out.
I like it. It was the one where you were showing the really nice side of Warrington.
Yeah.
That must have got loads of views, right?
Yeah, so I gave it like a sarcastic thing to say like, oh, as in like taking the mickey out of where we live. And then it just clipped to all the nice scenes around Warrington. Loads of nice, like summer shots, old buildings, the high street being busy, all that sort of stuff. And I think it got like 1,300 likes and it got loads of really nice comments of people saying, you know, we should appreciate where we live and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, it brought in a few negative comments who were saying, well, you've not uncovered this part of town, you haven't done that. But I was like, the whole point of the video is just for those 2 minutes of watching the video, just think about and appreciate the nice things we've got in town. But still, people had to go in the comments and say negative stuff. And it's so frustrating at times. It's like, you really should appreciate where you live. Yeah, we might not be the best town in the world, but compared to other northern towns, we're better. We aren't ever going to be Liverpool or Manchester.
It's not the worst town in the world,
no.
Is it? It really isn't.
No.
And I do think that, one of my, I think, favourite comments that I saw almost immediately after you've posted the video was, and now show XXX, you know, whatever that person had decided was really rubbish, or now show all the vape shops, now show all of this, that, and the other. I thought every town is like that. You've got lots of things. I mean, look, we are all about the positive, or we try to be.
Neutral to positive.
Yeah, okay, neutral to positive, as you keep reminding me. But yeah, I just think that it is, and one of the things that I know that since we've been doing this, since you've been doing the newsletter, and since I, started the podcast alongside that with you, but it's, 8 months ago now. Wow. It's our 8th episode.
Episode 8.
It is harder to go and find the positive. It is very easy to sit there, or where I am right now, sat in a chair.
Yep.
And it is very easy for me to go, there's nothing to do here. This is rubbish. I can't, X, Y, and Z is just really poor. It's easier to do that than it is for me to just even open up Google on my phone and type in, what can I do tonight in Warrington? I've already had to take a step. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Rather than sitting there and I do think that it is just, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, I'm not calling anybody out specifically. It is just lazy, because what you could do is quite easily find something that is really positive. And I hope that is something that we have shown over the course of, the 7 previous episodes. I hope today also, this episode will bring you more positivity about something that happens local. We've got a great chat with Robert from Warrington Fruit and Veg.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
It is really good. Stay tuned for that. And I genuinely think that if you open your eyes and open your mind a little bit, you will see the great things that the town has to offer. That isn't me having a pop at anybody. It is the way of social media, and it is the way that we are.
Yeah, the way of social, yeah.
We are ingrained to go for the easier. Some people might say it in jest, the one about I laughed. I have to admit, when someone, now show the vape. I laugh because, we all know that there's a lot of those that have sprouted up. But again,
they're in every town.
Every town.
Yeah.
It's no different here in Warrington. There are lots of different places. And the places that you highlighted on that video that you did, I mean, I know that they're from, lots of videos that you've taken over the, some of them were obviously taken in the summer because it was really nice and sunny, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But there are parts of our town that are really beautiful. And, the surrounding area as well, Lymm, absolutely gorgeous little village.
People complain that there was too many shots of Lymm on it, but it's a nice area. There was Stocksneath, there was Town Centre, there was all different areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warrington is nice.
Yeah.
And it's not just certain places. You know, every town is going to have places that aren't as nice as the rest. But I genuinely do think that Warrington has got a lot to offer. And it's easy, I think, at this time of year, especially when it's a bit grey, it's rainy, it's a bit dreary. Probably I could be more negative than that about the weather at the minute, to be honest. But, you know, it's very easy to see it in that grey scale almost. When the summer comes, you know, and we're only maybe a couple of months away from getting a bit of early sun.
The daffodils are out now.
You see, this is it. Places will start to look even nicer, I think, and we've got to enjoy it. And also there is loads to do. You know, there is loads of different things. I have found so many different organisations, charities, events that are happening within the town that I never really knew about. It isn't just all about what's on at the Power Hall this week or next month. There are loads of things going on at your local libraries, different hubs throughout the town centre.
I find new stuff all the time that I'm not even seeing, you know, so that I keep popping up. So even though I'm searching for these things, I'm finding these new things all the time. So they are out there. People just need to look. And
we'll talk about some of those a little bit later on. We've got our interview this month with Robert Lester from Warrington Fruit and Veg. You will know him. He's in the market 6 days a week. He's the most recognisable person in that market, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Obvious reasons. He's also known as being one of the characters on the back of the buses in the adverts.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. He was, yeah.
I don't know who it was that was with him, but one of the girls that also works with him, I presume, back then. Yeah, we've got a great chat with Rob coming up in a moment or two.
Thanks for listening to the Warrington Scoop podcast. Sign up to the newsletter and get events and feel-good news delivered to your email every Monday and Friday, which goes out to thousands of people. Head over to warringtonscoop.co.uk now.
And now it's time for our chat with Robert Lester from Warrington Fruit and Veg. I'm talking to him, first of all, about that article that came out. Do you remember it, Mike?
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
Liverpool Echo, a bit of a hit piece on the town centre's retail scene. Yeah, I decided that with Rob, he'd be the perfect person to get his opinion on that.
First thing I thought from that was, obviously, you look at the article and it's what someone's written who doesn't even live in Warrington. They've come from an out of town and they've turned up with a specific agenda to write a negative article. So the first thing you got to look at is facts and where the data's come from. So I tried looking for days on where the data come from, and all I could find it was a barcode company what have basically done this independent data and what have you. And it works from how many businesses are closed over a 10-year period. And Warrington did fit at the bottom 5 of that, well, the top 5, whichever. But what that didn't mention was how many businesses have opened in that 10-year period. Yeah. So, for instance, like you've had the New Market, you've had the Hive, you've had all these new developments going in Warrington, but that didn't get a single mention because they come with, like I say, the agenda of pushing that article to be in fact a negative way, really. So yeah, so I just wanted to kind of like pick up on that and explain about why they kind of might have want to do it or and why they left certain stuff out. And it also went off population as well to how many businesses closed. And Warrington's had massive housing developments and stuff like that. So our population's gone up, which again, that never got mentioned in the article or anything. So it was kind of like a very one-sided story in a sense.
Yeah, it's a good point in fairness. I mean, I go back, you know, I've lived in Warrington for over 20 years. What is now Mac Bear Coffee, that was Phones for You back when I first moved. In fact, it might have even been something before then, to be honest, when I first moved here. But you're right. It's easy to remember the big names, like the national shops. Like obviously Debenhams has gone. That was the big, massive one that obviously was part of the Golden Square expansion, wasn't it? And that's now gone. But there are lots and lots of positives in the fact that, yes, we've got a few new national retailers that have come in, but there's a whole host of independent local shops, retail units, whatever you want to call them, whatever size, shape. There's substantial growth as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, for instance, the market in a sense. So you could say that the market downsized in the past 10 years, but the quality of what the market's offering is a lot better. Because if you go back to the market 10 years ago, it was half empty and big knickers and what have you. And what, in a sense, there was,
yeah.
But whereas now it's the market might have downsized in a sense, but the quality of what the products what they're offering is 10 times better. I know that that's going to be a 50-50 argument and stuff because people might say it's a glorified food hall and what have you, but you've got to kind of move with the times in a sense because another thing in the past 10 years is online shopping's gone massive, and it's kind of a way of how do you approach that. So as a small independent business, you can look at it and go, right, I'm going to go online, and then you drive a load of sales and your business will do good. But I'm a market trader. I want people coming to my store so other market traders can benefit off that. So you kind of you're in this motion of trying to do what's best for your business, but also do best for all the businesses around you. So the way the market's moved is, right, how do you compete with online shopping is social side of shopping because you're not getting that online. So you come in and the food court's a massive part of that where you can sit down, you can have a cup of tea and you can have something to eat with your friends and then go and do your shopping. And I think you'll find like a lot of businesses are going more towards that sort of way where you can offer that social side because at the end of the day, we realise it's a massive thing of lives when you got shut at home. The social side of everything's massive for your mental health and what have you. So being able to offer that and offer it to a really good standard is quite key to keeping business, not just for now, but how business is going to be in the next 20 or so years.
Do you think, because I know you were, having a bit of a joke at the old knickers, comment before, but, look, in the old market, there was a lot of, I don't know whether you'd call them clothes retail outlets or repair type clothing repair shops, that kind. It's a very traditional kind of market outlook, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was in there. But of course, we don't necessarily live in those times where those particular types of shops or outlets tend to necessarily perform well, I guess. And yes, that will be partly because of online shopping, but obviously also part of the fact that big, massive retailers came along in like the 90s, like your Top Shops and whatever, River Islands and what have you, Next. The list goes on, doesn't it? That became more accessible to people to then come out. So therefore, if the market stays how it was, nobody's going to go because that's not going to bring people in. But at the same time, and this isn't just about the market, this is about, and it's certainly not just about Warrington either, there will always be people that will hark back to a bygone day when they were young maybe, and they'll question what's kind of going on. You use the words, a glorified food hall.
Well, I don't use them myself. I'm copying what other people say.
Absolutely. One of the things that I kind of look at with it is that the cookhouse and all the individual different, some of them are absolutely amazing and I love them and I would go if I had the money every single day to some of them, They're the kind of the draw for people. And then when you've got people in the door, they have a bite to eat. Or while they're waiting for their food, they might go and have a wander around the market and see all the different stalls are in there. There are things in there that aren't necessarily what you would immediately go, I will get that if I go to a market or the market in Warrington. Comic books, tattoo parlours. We know that there's, at least 2-3 hairdressers in the market. Yeah. So is it maybe a case that actually, rather than people saying things like, I go back to that article, one of your fellow traders was quoted as fearing that it was just going to be the cookhouse and that was all that there was going to be in the near future. Do you therefore think actually, no, it needs both parts to make that whole work? Yeah,
because at the minute, like I said, we've got 40 independent traders, which aren't your food court sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But if you start decreasing that down, you're only going to increase the problem more, in a sense. So say if you went from 40 to 30 or 30 to 20, you've lost the market, in a sense. So that's something and it's no interest for the traders, no interest for the council as well. They don't want to extend that food court. It works the way it is now as well. So even though the food court's the big draw, there's already 14 traders competing against each other. In a sense, competing, they work well together and everything. And the more you can offer, the more of a draw. But if you start extending that, you've got to make for bigger food court and what have you. Say if you added another 5 food traders or 10 food traders, there's still only 300 seats. So you're taking business off the ones who are already there potentially.
Yeah.
So there's no interest for that. But if you do that, it's cutting back the market. So the way it works at the minute is, I think, bob on really.
Talk to me about your business, not necessarily a day in your life, but I mean, obviously it is very easy these days for me to get in my car. So I'm in Penketh, so it's sometimes a bit of a pain to come into the town centre. It's a lot easier for me to go to one of the supermarkets to go and get fruit and veg. It's also a lot cheaper at the supermarket to buy specifically fruit and veg.
Yeah.
Why should we be thinking shop local, especially, and I appreciate that it just sounds like this is a big advert for you. We're just taking you as the example now and the fruit and veg as an example. But why should people turn to businesses like yourself as opposed to the bigger supermarkets? What's the difference?
The first thing is, if supermarkets do the job properly, I won't be in business. Because like you say, it's much easier to go to a supermarket, it's convenient and what have you. But if you're looking for the quality product, you're not going to find it on the shelf of a supermarket, really. So the big step is quality. Service is another big thing, I think. And then going to pricing, you might typically think that going to a market store is going to be more expensive than going to a supermarket. But one of the big things I try and do is to sell as much as I can individually. So sell it loose on the counter. That way, we're reducing plastic waste. That's always been, since the start of the business, that's always been a massive thing. But another big thing is you're not buying big packs of stuff. So say if you go and buy a kilo of carrots, but you only need 500 grams of carrots or a pound weight of carrots, you're not overspending on more than what you actually need. So say if you need to buy 2 carrots, you put that on my scale, it's going to be cheaper than buying a big pack of carrots. And then that way you're reducing your plastic waste and you're also reducing food waste, which is a massive thing because it's something I've grew up with where there's just massive amounts of food waste. And if you look at stuff, if I look at stuff in a bin, I look at that as wasted money in a sense. And going back to supermarkets where it's like over Christmas, and one of the big things is them selling stuff for pence as well. It kind of causes a false economy of how much it costs for food to go into production. And the reason why they do it is just to get you through the door. So if they sell their fruit and veg dead cheap, you're going to then wander through the shop and you're going to buy this item, you're going to buy that item. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you have the till you spent hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come into the market, you do your fruit shop, you might go and buy some meat and what have you. Yeah. You're not buying unnecessary things. So even though your cupboard's not going to be full to the brim when you open it and fall out, and you're going to eat that food anyway. Like, how long is it going to take? So if you're only buying what you need, you're going to might potentially save yourself money. You're going to reduce your food waste and you're getting a much better quality product as well. One of the big things is I try and do as much as I can locally. Yeah. So over the year, we've supported 15 different local businesses. Okay. So for instance, there's a farm up in Risley. Takes us 15 minutes to come back from there. So carrots are dug up that morning, come to our store, we're on the counter, you're not getting fresher in that.
Yeah.
And going back to the local thing, where I've spent that money in a farm in Warrington, they've grown it, they've got their Warrington staff, that money's there. You come in to spend money with me, where none of my money's going up. Like, say if you go and spend £1 in a big supermarket, how much of that money stays in Warrington?
Yeah.
They've got the staff, they might have the rent.
That's probably it.
Probably it, because none of the stuff's locally sourced, probably none of the packaging's locally sourced or anything like that. So, whereas for me, my rent's local, my staff is local, the produce is as much as I can local. So, if you come and spend £1 with me, a lot of that money is staying in Warrington.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting to support a local business and you want Warrington to do well as a whole, if you spend your money in Warrington, it's going to stay in Warrington. Yeah. And then when you walk down the high street in 10 years' time, it's not going to be empty.
I like that. I really love that because I think that is something that we don't necessarily think about.
I'm not saying that you need to go and spend all your money in a local business, but if everyone did just that little bit more, you would see a massive benefit in the town.
So your day-to-day Rob? Are you getting up at the crack of dawn before the sun has risen, especially seeing as we're in, the midst of winter at the moment? Off you go to either a farm or a wholesaler's.
Yeah.
Getting all of that, driving it back to back to Warrington, getting to the market, and then setting that all up in the morning, ready to open up. Is that essentially what every day is like for you?
A normal day is alarm goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning, out the door for 4. So when I've got up, got ready, done all my orders, out the door, and then go to the wholesalers in Manchester, buy stuff which that's not like your local stuff. That's like your bananas and stuff like that.
I was going to say, because things like your out of season fruit and veg that is still a staple. So as an example, I have to buy more or less every other day strawberries, raspberries, and then maybe 2 to 3 times a week bananas.
Yeah.
Because my 3-year-old son just lives on all of those. But obviously, you can't grow those at this time of year in the UK. So they've got to come from elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that's what you're getting at the wholesalers.
Yeah. So like you say, stuff what I can't buy locally or anything like that, go to the wholesale. So we do that 6 days a week. We're not bulk buying. I'm not buying a pallet of tomatoes, what's going to sit downstairs for a week.
Right.
So I can get it £1 a box cheaper. I'm only buying what I need for each day. That's the way I can make sure my quality is always the best it can be. My turnover is always daily. So that's one of the things what I've always run my business on, to try and make sure everything is as fresh as it can be.
Yeah.
And then once we're back from the wholesalers, we're back to the market for about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Set the stall up, doing orders. So we do like bar orders, cafes, restaurants, that sort of thing. Get them ready to go out on the van.
Yeah.
And then doors open 9 o'clock. So yeah, and then all the lovely Warrington people come in and serve.
Nice, brilliant.
Yeah.
So at the moment, in terms of fruit or veg that is in season that we'll be able to find on your stall, is there anything particular this time of year that is particularly a good seller?
It's a lot less than what you expect, really. So it's stuff like your potatoes, carrots, beetroot, cabbages, cauliflowers, eggs. Eggs is all year round, local sort of thing. But apart from that, there's not really much else. I'm able to get a little bit of lettuce, which is greenhouse grown, but more in the summer. That's when you're going to get all your strawberries, Cheshire potatoes. That's always a massive one. So like tomatoes I get from Knutsford, same with lettuce and stuff like that. So there's a lot more in summer compared to what it is now.
So now it's kind of your root vegetables that we all know and love for your stews and your soups and things.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's what to go and get. And then in the summer, even more comes out available that is locally grown. I nearly said locally born and bred then, but that's more you than your actual
that's
stock.
me personally.
Rob, thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with us. The one thing that we've definitely learned and to take away from this is to at least give it a go. Shop locally, find something. You don't have to go and do your whole food shop there or your whole, normal weekly shop, whatever that is, but maybe just give it a go, whether that is spending just a £5 or a tenner. That'll help, and that'll not only your business, but it'll help Warrington as a whole with the economy.
Yeah, and something what I've always said as well is when I try and spread the message of shop local, I'm not saying come give all your money to me. There might be a local farm shop to you. If you go and spend your money in a local farm shop, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're shopping local and try and do your little bit. Yeah, most definitely.
Thanks so much to Rob for talking to us. It was a really, really, really good chat with him. I think one of the best things about what Rob had to say there was, first of all, the community aspect of his job. He isn't just about selling and making money. He wants to have a chat with his customers. He wants to give them that little experience, and you don't get that in a supermarket, do you?
No, it's true. He's such a likable guy. Always got loads of time for you when you go in. Really nice guy. And the part that he talks about where if you're just buying, if you just want 2 carrots or you just want a handful of potatoes and things like that, I didn't really think about that until he said it, but there's not as much waste created. So yeah, because if I go to the supermarket, I'll buy a big bag of carrots. We end up using 3 and then we check like the rest. A week later, they've all gone mouldy, chuck them away, and it's a lot of waste. So I thought that was a really good point that he talks about.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I do it all the time, mostly with potatoes. I'll buy a bag of potatoes, and I'll use 3 or 4 out of that bag to do a Sunday roast, and then before you know it, it's the following Sunday. I've not used any more since then. And I'm looking at them and I'm going, I'll get by with them. Okay, that's fine. I'll use, 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
But then the following week, same again. But this time I'm throwing whatever's left away to go and get a new bag instead. Whereas, what Rob said is right. I could go to him or, Holly's farm is just down the road from both of us in Penketh. Could go to there and then go and get, however many spuds I actually need for that day or for that week. And okay, it'll cost, you'll think, oh, this is costing more than if I just go and get a bag of spuds.
Yeah, it's probably not though. No.
It's probably not, because actually I'm only getting what I need. And if I get what I need and then eat it, I've not wasted any money whatsoever there. So yeah, a really, really good point. Go and check Rob out. If you've never been to the market, I'm sure you have. It sounds like the most obvious thing. Probably one of the most popular places that Warrington is known for these days is Times Square, the New Market, the Cookhouse. Go and say hello. And if you do go and see Rob, tell him that you heard him on the Warrington Scoop. You won't get a discount or anything, but it'll be really, really good. He will love the fact that you've heard him on the podcast. We'll love to hear about it as well. Tell him that you heard him on the podcast. Tell him that you enjoyed it. If you don't agree with something that he said, have a conversation about it. I promise you, he will love to just talk to you. He's not one of those people that it's my way or the highway. Lovely guy, as I'm sure most of the people working in the market are too. Go and support your local traders. There are loads of them in this town.
40 of them in the market.
40 in the market alone. The Warrington Scoop podcast is sponsored by Vibrant Sound Media, Warrington's very own podcast production company. That's the production company behind the Warrington Scoop and my business as well. I work with people and businesses, not just in Warrington, but across the world, to create audio-first podcasts that connect with people in a vibrant and engaging way. I'm always up for a chat about podcasting, so if you'd like to find out more about how it can work for you and your business, get in touch. Go to vibrantsoundmedia.com. Want to know what to do in Warrington this month? Well, we've picked out some of our favourites for our February event guide.
So first off is a beer festival, probably the first one of the year, I think. So that's at Latham Hall in Penketh. You've got loads of real ales, gins, lager, cider, wine, prosecco, and they've got live music and hot food. And this all raises funds for Latham Hall Scouts and Guides. So if you're not sure where it is, it's kind of tucked away just opposite the Red Lion pub, sort of along there on the main road in Penketh. But yeah, I've not been to that one, but I have got a ticket for this year. Everyone says it's really good. It always sells out every year, so please check that there's some tickets left, because I know there wasn't a lot left at the time of recording.
Yeah, I'm gutted. I'm going to be missing that. I'll be working.
I'll send you a picture, don't worry.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Or two.
On Sunday, the 8th, the Makers Market returns to Times Square. It's not been on for a couple of months, but the monthly market invites people out to eat, drink, shop and socialise with independent makers and performers. So this will be out the front of the Cookhouse in Times Square. Obviously, all the other businesses will be open, but there's a record fair as part of that. There'll be loads of stalls. I'm sure like Cheshire Cheese Company will probably be there. Anything that you can sort of think of at a maker's market, that will be there. And do you know what? Even just going and having a browse, it makes for a good afternoon out on a Sunday. Definitely one to go and try.
On the 14th of February at the Power Hall, we've got LWF, No Love Lost. So this is live wrestling, family-friendly show, UK wrestling talent, and it says it's a Valentine's Day event that promises athletic contests and dramatic storytelling. That sounds good for everyone, that, yeah.
Do you know what? I absolutely love the thought of taking my Nick to watch wrestling on Valentine's Day. That would be absolutely brilliant. Oh, do you know what? I know a few people that work in the independent wrestling scene in the UK, if you like, and it always just looks, I'm yet to have actually gone to a show, but it looks like so much fun. And I know that, there will be plenty of people out there that remember watching WWE back in its heyday.
Loved it.
And, me and you grew up with the likes of Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker and God knows who else, loads of different wrestlers, but you know, that kind of stuff, it's brilliant when you can see it live in person. It's not as big as WrestleMania, but I think you'll have a fab time. Brilliant stuff. Returning for the first time in 2026, we've got Go Wild, the holiday camp taking place in Warrington Market. This is on Tuesday, the 17th of February, between 10 and 3. Families can meet snakes, snails, cockroaches, and geckos with the animal team on the mezzanine, and sessions are running every 20 to 30 minutes and are completely free. Snakes, geckos, yes.
I don't care. Yeah, any of those, no problem.
Snails, cockroach, no.
I don't care. I go fishing. I deal with everything. I don't.
Yeah,
not bothered.
Fair.
Any bush tucker trial, I'd take it on. On the 20th of February, we've got Rubber Souls UK. So this is a Beatles tribute band, and they're playing at Empire, which is the new music venue on Bridge Street. They always have loads of different live acts on there now, really good. So obviously going to be playing all the classic Beatles songs. And £3 to get in, with pre-booking advised.
The junior farmers are growing strawberries at Kenyon Hall Farm between the 14th and 28th of February. It's a 45-minute session for children to have a go at growing their own strawberries. This is actually really, really good because Kenyon Hall Farm, there's other places as well, of course, you can go strawberry picking in the summer months.
Yeah.
But this is a really good opportunity for you to maybe get your kids to go and start the growing process and almost sort of take them from beginning to end of the season, if that makes sense. I think this would be a really good thing. As I said, it's at Kenyon Farm Hall, 45-minute sessions, and it's happening between the 14th and 28th of February.
Yeah, they always have loads going on there. Really popular place.
Thanks for listening to the Warrington Scoop. If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with someone that you sent a Valentine's Day card to.
And don't forget to sign up to the newsletter to stay in the know with events happening around Warrington. There's a link in the show notes.
And if you'd like to have your business or organisation appear on the podcast, do send us an email, podcast@warringtonscoop.co.uk. That's also the place that you can send me Valentines if you would like to, Mike.
We'll see, Charles. We'll see. It might send you one. We'll see. We'll be back in March with a brand new episode of the Warrington Scoop podcast. Goodbye.